E aí galera, beleza? Sejam muito bem-vindos a mais um react de setups gringos, né? O vídeo de hoje vai ser um setup muito maneiro, eu acho que é um dos mais organizados que eu já vi, cara, que é do Metal Ensina. Apesar do nome dele ser Ensina ali, e o canal ser voltado pra do it yourself, tipo aqueles vídeos de faça você mesmo, o Ensina ali é com C, né? Tipo o sobrenome dele mesmo. Enfim, muito maneiro, galera, o canal dele eu conheci justamente por causa disso, que ele faz vários projetos de marcenaria, já construiu alguns setups bem legais, e vai ser bacana justamente pra gente pegar muita ideia aí de organização, de esquema também de estrutura de setup. Lembrando que aqui o react de setups, né, eu sempre deixo o link completo do vídeo na descrição, a gente vai pulando algumas partes. E também, se você tiver alguma sugestão, coloca aí nos comentários ou me manda lá no Instagram, ou Luigitec, né? Que eu vou estar fazendo aqui o react pra vocês. Se vocês verem aí algum setup diferente, cara, manda que vai ser bem legal aí pra gente poder pegar ideias. Vamos lá, galera, já temos aí um visual do setup, né, do ambiente todo. Olha só o tamanho do pé direito, esses janelões também, né? Muito maneiro, o setup ele tem todo esse estilo branco e uma madeira clarinha. Não podia faltar a light bar ali da Bank. E pegboard é o que não falta, vocês vão ver. Aliás, o canal do Metal eu conheci por causa dessas questões assim de organização, de pegboard. Eu queria umas ideias para organizar melhor o setup. Né?
Computer and chair. For me,
coloquei a
it's a place
legenda aí
that
pra
can
vocês
stimulate new ideas,
lerem, galera.
connect you to your creativity, and streamline around how you
Então
work.
deu pra ver ali que ele mexe com
Hello,
design.
I'm Matthew Ensina.
Isso aqui é sacanagem, né? Olha só a organização, cara. O ruim é que, tipo, ocupa muito espaço, né? Mas fica super organizado. Tem uma ideia também que eu peguei no canal do Lilete, que é, tipo, recortar a espuma, que vem, tipo, normalmente em caixa de cadeira. Se recorta ali de acordo com o tamanho das ferramentas, né? Fica tudo encaixadinho, fica muito maneiro, cara. Eu queria fazer isso, mas tem preguiça.
In this video, I'll share the ideas behind my studio desk setup and give you a tour of the space.
Aqui no
Before I
Brasil,
begin, I want to thank Ergonoffice for sponsoring
pegboard
this video.
fica muito caro, né, galera?
This episode is part of a larger studio
O
design
meu eu tive que
series,
improvisar.
which I'll leave a link to in the description.
Cara, olha o tamanho desse pé direito, né? Gigantesco. Deve ter, sei lá, uns 8 metros, 6 metros.
To catch you up on what's happened so
também
far,
tá de baixo pra
I leased the
cima,
studio
filmado.
for my media and maker brand, Mod Musings. I designed a vision for this space, a Zen workshop, and I've begun
Eu
doing
queria
everything
aprender a
from
fazer isso aí,
scratch,
cara.
including building my custom
Esses
storage
softwares de
and
programação,
sealing
assim,
my
de
concrete floors.
design.
Now I'm working on the area of my studio where I'll be spending the most time. A desk setup that has all the tools I need to create, is
E o legal é que é ele
inspiring and
mesmo que
comfortable
faz,
to
pelo
work in,
menos a
and is
parte que ele
highly
mostra no vídeo.
modular so that it can be reconfigured and used for a wide range of work. It brings together some of my favorite ideas from my home setup,
Caraca,
along
legal
with some
esse
new ones I
suporte.
came up for this space. Starting with my main desk, which is made by Ergonoffice, the sponsor of today's video. This is the
Então tem
Sway desk
patrocínio
in
firme
white
aí
oak.
da Ergonomics.
It's made from
Não
locally
tem aqui no
sourced
Brasil.
solid wood and is handcrafted
Foi legal
in
essa madeira.
Montreal, Canada. My favorite detail is the updated design for their control, which features
Ah,
a
uma
simple
daquelas
and
mesas
sleek
que
swipe up or down
se regula
gesture
ali a
to
altura.
go to your saved heights.
Galera, vou mandar real pra vocês. Já tem um setup aqui que eu fiz realmente pra usar ali em pé. Cara, eu quase não uso. Porque, sei lá, você quando tá aqui no setup, tu quer ficar sentado, né? Então, essa parada aí de ter uma mesa que levanta, muitas vezes você nem vai usar.
Making it easy
aqui.
to switch between sitting and standing. The Sway desk is very quiet
O
and
bom
has
é a
additional features
praticidade,
like
né? Você
reminders to
pode baixar e
stand
levantar a hora
and
que você
an
quiser.
anti-collision system. For my setup, I added a few
Talvez
extras
dessa
to the
forma,
desk. A
utilizando o mesmo
drawer for
setup.
quick access to my most used things,
Pô, o ruim é que as gavetas da mesa ficam vazias
and
praticamente.
the cable management system to tame and
Aí,
hide
ó, o
all
cable
of the
management
cords
dele.
from my devices, keeping everything plugged into a single
Isso aí é
power
legal, uma
strip
parada que as mesas
mounted on the
deveriam
back of
fazer
the
mais.
desk.
É, tipo, colocar um tampo de madeira ali embaixo, perfurado, né? Porque aí facilitaria para
This
organizar os
allows
cabos.
my whole setup to be plugged in with a single cord, keeping it visually clean and easy to unplug if I want to roll away the desk. For my chair, I'm using the Ergonoffice U2 chair in the smoke and sandstone
Cadeirinha
color.
básica, né?
I've
Parece
sat in a lot of different chairs,
ergonômica.
and I was surprised at how comfortable and stylish this one was. I can highly recommend
Mas
it.
é bonito. E
Moving on to my
combinou também com o
workstation,
setup.
I'm using a 16-inch MacBook Pro that's completely maxed out. It's quite an
Então, o PC dele é um
investment,
MacBook
but
Pro.
I've gotten so much out of it that it's paid for itself. To dock this, I use a laptop bracket hidden under my
legal, ó.
desk and plug
Ele
it
usa
into
aquele
a
esquema de
CalDigit
colocar o
PS4 hub via Thunderbolt,
notebook ali
which
embaixo.
charges my MacBook and has 18 ports to connect additional peripherals to. With a single plug, it conveniently connects to everything in my setup.
Mas ele usa teclado mecânico, ele não usa aqueles teclados
For my
da Apple,
monitor,
não.
I use the 32-inch Apple Pro Display XDR. While I've grown accustomed to using ultra-wide monitors at home, nothing available on the market was bright enough to accommodate the
Pô, tem uma pia no meio do quarto ali, né?
abundant light coming into the studio. I honestly hesitated to buy the monitor
Isso
because
é
of
muito
its
comum de eu
expensive
ver
price,
nas casas
but the moment I
gringas,
turned it
uma
on,
pia no meio da
I knew
sala.
why it cost so much. I've never worked on a
Meio do quarto
monitor
também.
as crisp and vibrant as this one. Because it's a Retina 6K display, I can fit so much on the screen,
Tela
and it
retina aí
looks
da Apple
absolutely gorgeous.
deve ficar muito maneiro
It's not a
pra quem
monitor for
mexe com
everyone,
design.
but it's exactly what I needed in this space. At first I paired this with the Apple Pro stand, but I had to swap it out because it blocked the path of the USB cable
Onde que ele
going
passou o
into my
cabo ali?
keyboard.
Esse cabo ficou
As
meio
much
feio.
as I prefer the look of the minimal aluminum stand, the HX
Caraca,
monitor
a parte
arm
de
from
trás do monitor é cheio de
Ergotron is more
buraquinho.
practical for this setup. On top of my monitor is the screen bar halo light by BenQ. This is an incredible accessory that illuminates my desktop when I need more light and also provides bias lighting behind my monitor. The light can be programmed and controlled
Pô, esse
using
daí
this
é
sleek wireless
esculacho, hein, esse
style
light bar aí.
that can go anywhere on your desk.
Da Bank.
For audio, I'm using the YU4 speakers.
Esses suportezinhos assim de caixa de som, aqui no Brasil quase não encontra, né? E eu acho também maneirinho. Eu queria botar as minhas caixinhas de som elevadas.
By Contato. These are larger than my go-to
Só
desktop
tinha que ser algo
speakers
que
at
combinasse
home,
com o setup.
but I got these to help fill this larger space. They sit on these 6-inch stands, also by Kanto, which helps hide and guide the cables from behind the speaker.
Ah, legal, ó.
Moving on to my
Esconde o
desktop
cabo ali por trás.
peripherals, for my mouse, I'm using the Logitech MX Master 3S for Mac in the pale gray color. At home, I'm still
Logitech
using the Logitech Lift, which has also become another favorite.
Mouse
I
secundário.
can highly recommend either for
Eu
their
tenho um
comfort
desse, né,
and
galera? Eu
aesthetics.
não recomendo muito, não.
If you've been around
Mouse
the
meio
channel,
estranho.
you know that
Caraca,
I've
ele tem
become
vários
obsessed
teclados.
with mechanical keyboards. They're fun to build and customize, they look incredible, and they are an absolute dream to type on. For this setup, I'm currently using the Sonnet, a premium 75% custom mechanical keyboard
Aí
by Mode.
75%
The
é
Sonnet
melhor
comes in
layout.
many color options and materials, so you can design it in a way that best suits your style,
Bonito,
and build it in a
teclados.
variety of configurations for your preferred feel
Nenhum tem
and sound.
iluminação, né? Isso que é interessante. Caraca, isso daí é silencioso. O branquinho ali.
Both of my peripherals sit on top of a wool felt desk pad by Grovemade. This provides a nice surface for me to work on and allows me to slide my things out of the way when needed.
Eu gostei do mousepad.
While my
é
main
tipo o meu
desk
aqui,
is
né?
where I
Parecido.
do most of my video and design work, my second desk is more of a workbench, a place intended for building, assembly, and sketching. It's also a flex
Olha a
desk in case I
organização do
need to
cara,
host a
mano.
freelancer here in the future.
Eu queria ser
The desk I'm
organizado assim
using
desse
is the
jeito.
30
Cara.
by 60 inch shift desk in pale gray to help me organize the things I'm currently
Ele
working
tem tipo
on.
um stand pro.
Until now, Grovemade has only had offerings in maple and walnut, but because I favor white oak, they're starting to explore it as an option. So they created an additional set of prototype
Ah, tem
white oak
lugarzinho até pra
accessories
colocar
to
caneta,
test
tá de
out in my
sacanagem.
setup. I personally love white oak because it's a medium value wood that's
Maneiro, isso
flexible
aí é uma
enough
parada
to
que eu quero
go
fazer.
with
Colocar
either
carregador
dark
de
or
iPhone
light color schemes.
desses
While the
assim,
desk shelf is available to order
por
now,
indução.
the rest of the white oak accessories are still in testing.
MagSafe,
If you're
né?
interested in seeing more white oak products from Grovemade, click the link in the description to learn more.
Essa marca eu já
Another
vi em
accessory I have on the
outros
desk
reacts
is
de
this
setup.
laptop stand
Grovemade.
that tucks into the desk shelf. I use this to hold my laptop or my iPad for reference. In full disclosure, I am working closely with Grovemade on some
vários
upcoming
desenhozinhos
projects,
maneiros, hein?
and these products were sent to me. But as
Pô,
a
ele não usa o lado esquerdo do papel,
long-time
sacanagem.
customer of Grovemade, I would still recommend their high-quality products.
Mó
It's the
desperdício.
reason I'm working with them.
Espaço.
One of the things I do on this desk is build keyboards, which sometimes requires a soldering iron. To have access to power, I got this slim charging station from
Caraca, isso daí é
Anchor, which I
maneiro,
keep
hein, esse
tucked
ferro de
away
solda.
in my desk shelf when not in use. When I'm building on this desk, I tend to have a bunch of loose parts I'm working with. I use these raw concrete trays as a catch-all to hold small pieces and tools while I work. Overall,
E ele é
I'm
daqueles
trying
que
to
gosta de
incorporate more
fazer
concrete
lube
as
de
material
teclado
in my
mecânico.
office to tie into the floors.
Até
Below the
nisso o cara é
desk,
organizado.
I need storage to
Quantidade de
organize small items like
lugarzinho que ele tem
cables,
pra colocar
parts,
as
and
paradas.
accessories. So I built this DIY IKEA Alex drawer on casters that can be moved around for convenience. While the drawer works as is, I wanted to customize it to match the rest of my setup. Because I recently finished building out the storage for my office, I have so many leftover offcuts I want to use up. So I took some sheets of 1/4-inch white oak and cut them up to cover the existing drawer faces. Then I sanded and finished them the same way I did my storage cabinets.
Cara, tem várias ferramentas maneiras.
To apply the faces, I used wood glue and
Ah,
clamps
ele
to hold
mudou
it
a
in
cor
place while it
do
dries.
gaveteiro. Caraca, maneiro.
Next, I installed these black pulls to the drawer faces, using a template I made out of an index card. This card has a cutout to align with the center of the drawers, which I marked out with tape, and has holes for where my screws
tudo na
need to
régua,
go.
filhão.
This made it easy to align and install all the pulls down the center. To prevent tear out on the inside of the drawer, I used a scrap piece of wood behind the drawer face with help from my dad. This was a fun DIY project which adds character to a common IKEA piece and gives me a solid mobile storage solution. I got this idea from YouTuber Dainty Diaries, which I'll share a link to in the description.
Maneiro, maneiro.
Above my desk are 2 IKEA Scatus pegboards, which I've used extensively in my home office. I love this system because I think they look nicer than regular pegboards, and they come with a bunch of first-party and third-party accessories that help me organize and display my things. Some of my favorites are these custom printed hooks that can hold my keyboards and iPad, and these magnets that hold my tools. After looking at options between something off the shelf and building something myself, I found a place where I could order custom floating shelves. I ended up getting 2 sets of 60-inch shelves to line up side by side with each other to match the length of my 2 desks. I ordered these in raw white oak so I could apply the same flat finish I used on my storage cabinets. To help me figure out where these should go, I used painter's tape to help me visualize where they would land, marking a height that would accommodate my desks at standing height, and using a laser level to align all of the brackets. The shelves were rather large and heavy, so I enlisted my dad to help me install them. There were a lot of challenges getting these up. At first we used self-tapping screws to go into the steel studs I have in my walls, but it took a ton of work to get even a few in. Eventually we ended up using snap toggle screws in the drywall, which are just as strong, but were much easier to install. Originally I wanted to line them up side by side to make each row look like a single shelf. However, because they're made by hand, each sat differently on the wall and were impossible to line up seamlessly. So I made the decision to make an intentional gap of 6 inches between them, and it looks so much better. After the shelves were installed, I spent some time organizing and decorating the space. I got this set of accessories from Artifox, starting with these large bookends, which hold up my hardcover books.
Isso aqui é muito satisfatório, né?
To hold some paper, I'm using these stackable mist trays, and by the window, this set of holders for my magazines and catalogs. I love the look of analog timepieces, so on the wall, I added this classic bronze clock I got from Ugmonk. One reason I wanted overhead shelves is that they provide a sturdy surface to clamp on. Now, I can use this super clamp and accessories from Falcam to mount my camera to capture overhead desktop shots. To complete the look of the space and give it that zen vibe, I decorated the office with a variety of plants. My parents have a massive garden and collection of beautiful plants, so they offered to donate some of theirs to help me out. We added a few hanging plants on the shelves and by the windows to help break up the rigid lines with organic shapes. The most impressive plant, however, is this 20-year-old Monstera plant that my parents had in their front yard. It's about 5 feet tall and has massive leaves with lots of fenestration. This is the centerpiece of the lounge area I have in the middle of the room. Here I have 2 ottomans I bought from Blue Dot that sit on top of this ultra soft rug. I know you think I'm crazy for having a white rug here, but this is a unique rug from Ruggable because it's completely washable. You just take off the top and toss it in the washing machine. As I mentioned before, the draw of this office are the large industrial windows that fill the space with a ton of natural light. But that light can be intense. To tame them, I got these motorized double roller shades by Smartwings. These were a bit tricky to install because of the 20-foot ceilings. A 5% filtering shade to drastically soften the sun coming in, and when I need complete control of the lighting, I have a second roller with a 100% blackout shade. To light the office, I've scattered a bunch of different lamps in the space to give it character, whether they're on or off. Then I drilled holes and used these 1/4-inch threaded screws to attach the light brackets to the MDF and clipped in the Pavo tube light. This rig can slide on and off my shelf without any screws and provides a huge diffused light source above my desk. These lights are meant for
Caraca,
filmmakers
ficou maneiro.
and aren't traditional smart bulbs, but they can be controlled using the NanLink app, where you can adjust the color and intensity of the lights. The lighting combo works well for filming and makes it feel incredibly cozy at night. And that ends the tour of my studio desk setup. I've only just begun to use this space, so there will be plenty of adjustments and updates I'll make the more I use it. For now, it's been an incredible place to do my creative work. This episode is part of an ongoing series I'm creating about designing, building, and working in my studio. Subscribe if you want to follow along
Cara, vale a
and
pena,
see what I
rapaziada,
make next.
acompanhar o canal
If you're
dele.
interested in
Mostra
anything
muita
you've seen
coisa
in the
ali de
video,
projeto.
I've left links and details in the description for you. If you have a question, ask and I'll do my best
Esse
to
vídeo
answer.
tem 9 meses, né? Ele já
Thanks
lançou
again to
algumas coisas
Organoffice for sponsoring this video.
atualizadas.
With that out of the way,
Mas
it's
é isso.
time to get back to work.
Parabéns aí ao Metal Ensina. Rapaziada, eu vou ficando com o vídeo por aqui. Muito obrigado a todo mundo que acompanhou. Deixem nos comentários o que vocês acharam do setup do Metal, dos mais organizados que eu já vi. E, pô, milimétrico. Sem contar que ele mesmo que fez tudo. Isso aí eu acho que é o mais satisfatório, né? Então é isso, rapaziada. Um grande abraço a todos. Até o próximo vídeo. Valeu, fui!